Three characteristics of an NBA shooter or the best shooters in the world. Like, so if you teaching me, Goods can shoot, but if you teaching me how to shoot, like, what's the three characteristics you giving me for an NBA shooter?
You can shoot too, Jay. No, but I would say for me, characteristics, I'm looking at a guy like Steph and Klay, just to single them out, like confidence has got to be number one. They're confident in half court shots, whatever shot they shoot, they feel like it's going in every single time. And you get that by putting the work in. So for me, second is the work ethic and the reps you put in every day. Third, uh, I guess it kind of goes with confidence, but it's just the effort mentality. Like it's gonna be nights where you might go 0 for 7, one for 9, but it's bouncing back that next game. I think Steph had like a career low, like 0 for 10 or whatever. The next game he broke some kind of record shooting the three. Like that kind of bounce back is pivotal for shooters. And in this day and age where social media, they blast every bad game you have, especially when it's that bad. For you to bounce back like that in today's day and age, like it's super impressive. I went 0 for 9 in a game this year from three. The worst I ever shot from three this year in a game. And my bounce back, I was just focused on that, just bouncing back and trying to be better the next game. And it always evens out in the end. Like most shooters' goal is to shoot 40 plus. Like you can never get too high or too low in one game. Like I hit 9 threes one game, I went 0 for 9 another game. Like that's what it is.
Yeah,
Was
I
it?
think I
Okay.
think another characteristic is like just having the poise to shoot good shots. When you're a shooter, you got that
Hmm.
confidence you can make everything, but then it's just like you start shooting everything, and then you just miss, or you start shooting shots that probably aren't the best shots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that
Yep.
that also harms a lot of shooters in regards to their confidence until they're the man. You know what I mean? I think when you're
Exactly.
coming off the bench, you got to have a poise to like, all right, let me get the good shots because number one, I'm going to make them. It's going to keep me on the floor. And then as a shooter, man, you get judged off. I always tell the young boys, you get judged off them percentages, boy. 40 look different than 39. 40 look real
Man,
different than
you
39.
ain't lying, especially with me, man. Like if I don't get 40 in a season, like it's considered like a terrible year, honestly. Like no matter what I shot from the field, free throw, how my rebounding was, or whatever, it don't matter. Like you shoot under 40, like you had a tough year. Like and in Europe, it's crazy because like the way I was getting guarded, they were taking away everything 3 point line. So like I got 7 a game. I got 7 up a game this year, threes, and I shot 41, I think, this year or something like that. And I swear it felt like it was me shooting 45 because the level of difficulty on every shot was crazy. Like I might have had, if I shot 7, 2 might have been wide open all game. Like maybe, it was all like not heavily contested, but I had to work real hard to get them. I had to set somebody up, fake a back door, go off one screen, curl it, go off the other side, like, and that's tiring. So like I learned a lot on how to get open overseas, especially, and how to be efficient, most importantly.
Yo, I had a year where I think it was the very last game, and I was at like 40 point something percent. So like if I went like 0 for 2 or some shit like that, I was gonna be at 39.
Yeah.
Never in my life have I spotted up inside the 3 point line. Like my foot was on the line every time. Like be like, I
I've been
didn't
there
catch it
before.
clean. I didn't catch it clean. Like
No, I've been there before. I've been there before. Like if I know I'm like it's crazy to say now, but I'm getting older, and so this is what it is. When I was in college, I think maybe like if I was like 4 for 10 or something, I wouldn't shoot no more threes. Like that's it. Like 40, I'm keeping it at that. Like unless I know for sure it's wide open and it's like a corner shot, unless I know I'm on cash, like
right.
I'm shooting that two dribble pull up. It's just unless we need them. Like if it's like we already got the game won, I'm probably not shooting that three.
No,
Just because, like you said, we get judged so harsh on it. Like 4 for 10 looks different than 4 for 11.
it does.
Y'all,
And I got the confidence to make it, obviously, but you just never know, man. Like you need all them 40s you can get.
Man, the
y'all,
AC be blowing too hard in the gym.
not
It
to
could
not
be
the
Yeah,
anything.
you
AC.
just
Yeah,
yeah,
the AC.
yeah.
It could be anything. Throw that thing off just a little bit, and then you miss that joint. Nah, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Go
Y'all,
on with 40.
y'all genuinely think that if you shoot 39.5 versus 40, that's gonna change the
It look.
your.
Listen.
I
It
understand.
looks
No, I
different. It
understand it
looks
looks
different.
different. I understand it looks
Nah,
different.
it
But
looks
other
different.
than
It's
what it
like it's
looks
the
like,
difference between 5 assists, 5.0 assists, and 4.9. It's like when
That's a
and
fact.
you know
Yeah.
when you overseas, like them coaches, they get the emails and they get all the players, from these agents, and then they just look at the stats. You know what I'm saying? And they just looking like, okay, I need a shooter. That
No, you're
40
right.
looks different than 39%.
You're right.
It just does.
Nah, that's
And I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Ant, but like my goal is always 50, 40, 90 every year. So like I need that 40. Like I need that 40 first. And the 50 is probably the hardest to get.
Hmm.
The 90 from three and from free throw is probably the easiest. But I need that 40. I need everything to be in line. So when you set goals like that high, like you have to make sure that you're being smart at the same time.
No, that's a
So
fact.
yeah. I'm glad somebody else think the same way I do because I thought I was the only one that thought like that. Like I know. I remember. I think Mo Harkless one year in the NBA, like he had a thing in his contract where he had to shoot a certain percentage. He didn't shoot a three the last 2 games of the season or something like that. Like it's just what it is, man. Like
see, that's directly correlated to money. The difference with point guard with assists, we could blame y'all motherfuckers for missing them damn threes if we don't get that. You know what I'm saying? That
true,
4.9,
true,
we go blame it
true.
right on y'all, man. But nah, that's an interesting perspective, I guess. I've thought of that as far as like certain individual games, but I don't think an entire season. I'm you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's more so towards the end of the season when you start thinking
Yeah,
about it,
towards the
because
end,
then
towards
you
the end
think
for
about
sure.
your
Yeah,
next contract, right? And then you know that
yeah,
like your
yeah,
name
yeah.
is coming through in an email on a piece of paper, and you're gonna be judged on them numbers, and somebody's gonna hit that little ranking thing on the Excel sheet, and is gonna look at like, okay, who had the highest percentage, who had the highest assists, lowest turnover rate. You know what I'm saying? That's just how they do it. So, help yourself, and if you coming down them last 2 games, you at those percentages, hey, take it home with you.
No, that's
And
facts.
the crazy part is like a lot of these guys, like the scouts. I'm sure I'm not a scout, but I just assume that I might shoot 300 attempts in a season or something in the NBA or whatever, and the other guy might shoot 100 but have 42 and I'm 41, and they looking at that 42 like, no, I shot 200 more threes than this dude
Yeah.
did. Like, you gotta look at all that. So, and I don't think they are looking at that. So, I'm aware of all situations when it comes to, especially the end of the year. Like, it has to look good because it's what it is.
I think even take it even another step further, like them analytics dude. Even if it's someone who shoots 300, both of y'all shoot 300, taking into
Hmm.
account the kind of threes, like you said earlier, like you in Europe, you getting hounded for every single three versus
Yeah, yeah.
Bruce Bowen shooting all corner spot up threes. You
Spot
know what I'm
ups.
saying?
Yeah.
So other than the obvious, I guess like Bruce Bowen is obviously obvious how he shoots his threes, PJ Tucker, whatever. But yeah, I don't know if they taking into account like even someone like Klay. Take a dude like Klay. All right, he's probably getting whatever type of threes he's getting because he plays with Steph or whoever versus Devin Booker, who's the focal point of an offense. Yada yada yada. Well, for lack of a
Yeah,
better
for
comparison.
sure.
So that being said, man, the 2K ratings just came out I guess a couple weeks ago now for shooters. They had Steph at a 99, Clay at a 88. If you you go,
88.
yeah, right. You see, it's for
What?
3-point rating. Yeah, he didn't like it either. I see he said something on Instagram about it.
Wow.
Yeah, but Clay was second though.
That's
I
sick.
think I think Clay was second at 88, right? I
Oh,
believe
for
he
sure.
was second. I think he was second at 88. But if you gonna be on there accurately, what's your 3-point ranking supposed to be at?
I mean, damn, if Clay's at 88, then
Yeah, that's a tough scale. That's a tough
man.
scale.
Nah, I mean you could assume that you could put Clay at a 97, whatever you want to put him at.
Yeah, personally, I think Clay is 98, 99 too. But anyway, I'm sure he'll change that in the middle of the year. I know they update him all the time, but um, man, what would I be? If Clay's at 88 right now, I gotta be like 83, 84, I would say. Like I mean, obviously I'm not in the NBA right now, so I'm gonna judge it off what I've done the past few years, and I would say like if he's at 88, if he was where he's supposed to be, I would say I'm probably a 90. But since he's 88, I gotta say like 84, something like that.
Shit, you could say you a 90 even if he had an 88. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got too much respect for them two dudes, man. Like, what they do every night is just,
Nah,
I
it's
mean,
it's it's
we see it all the time. It's just ridiculous. So
it's
Yeah,
otherworldly. Goods, what you at?
nah, now. Nah, but I would even say in my prime, man. I don't know. I never thought of myself as like a knockdown shooter. I was just a guy that could just make shots. I could just make threes. You know what I'm saying? Like you put me in a
Good
workout, like
gamer.
yeah, like I mean, I could make threes, and I look good in the workout. I could go like I would have workouts where, I'm making. I used to always keep track of how many threes am I making in a row in a particular
You
workout.
told me in Atlanta about
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
One summer I was making 20 in a row at a certain point during the workout every week. And
yeah.
so I can make shots, but I just never looked at myself as like just like a knockdown shooter. So
Right.
I would say I'm more of a streak shooter. I was more of a streak shooter. If I hit one, I could hit five. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would probably rate myself. I would probably say like an 80. I'd say I'd
80,
probably be
that's
around
solid.
the 80. Yeah, like a prime 80. I remember
Yeah, that's
back in the
solid.
day, I was in one summer I was working out with Klay and them all summer, and Klay and I we were like it was with Golden State in the summer, so they would just pair us up, and we
Okay.
were shooting every single day together. We were shooting, playing ones, doing the whole nine. But like in shooting drills, I had to focus so hard just to compete. And I'm talking about like if we were doing 7 spots, and like I think probably like the whole summer I might have won like maybe 4 spots or whatever it was, but like just to compete, like just to be within a couple, you know what I'm saying? I had to focus like every shot was like a game winner. And like he's just flicking the ball up, like just throwing it in the air. But I mean, just being around that level of a shooter, you know what I mean, for a while, man, like it was kind of amazing to see, man, and and it raises your level, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to compete because it's like whereas he may just have better mechanics or more reps or whatever it is, like now I gotta add a different level of focus, you know what I'm saying? Which was interesting, but yeah, he's a next level shooter.
That's how I felt with Kyle Korver, my rookie year. I played him for 3 years in Atlanta, and that was my vet. So I shot with him as much as possible. Trying to just learn and just challenge myself basically. And I had to really lock in, man. Like I'm supposed to be the best shooter in the draft, whatever. It didn't even matter. Like this dude does not. He don't even hit the rim. Like it's crazy. Like so that was when I was like, okay, it's really levels to this. Like what I did in college has nothing to do with the way this dude shoots. But this is the all time amazing, great shooter. So like you said, I get what you're saying, but you had to focus because I had to lock in too. Like everything had to be right from
Hmm.
the from the feet up. Like had to be dialed in. Or they just shooting like normal. Now as I'm older, I see how he was doing it. No, it's
Right.
just the reps and you just. But as a young 21, 22 year old, like it was just eye opening for me to be around a shooter like that.
Was there things mechanically that you took away from him? I guess other than just the reps, was there things like damn, like he, whatever followed through, whatever it may be.
Yes, I don't know if y'all ever seen like the year I was with him. The year he shot 49% from three. When he was an All Star. I was with him that year.
He was at
Um,
52 at one point, wasn't he? Like,
yeah, he was. It was literally. I mean, obviously, he was not missing, bro. It was crazy. Like, and he was getting guarded. It was crazy. But anyway, he had like a checklist. I think ESPN or Sports Illustrated, whatever, interviewed him about his mechanics and his checklist, and he has a whole checklist of like 10 things you can look up on Google. I'm sure it's still there, like of his shots, and it's like elbow in, wrist this way, core this, and it's like I can't shoot like that. I just gotta just shoot. Like I'm more of a just like I don't think about anything. I just shoot. I trust the reps, but he has like a full on checklist of things that he had to lock in on before he let go of the shot, which was crazy to me. So I couldn't relate really to all the mechanics, but the big thing I took from him was his base. Like I actually talked to him a little bit about this a couple weeks ago, working out with the Hawks, but he was big on like all lower body stuff when he lifted and stuff too. So he would have a day where he did um, like double leg, like squats, like uh, lunges or whatever. But then he'd have like a day where he only did single leg work too. And this is all because he felt like his jump shot came from his lower half. So he taught me how to have a correct base and to really strengthen the lower and the core because you would think that as I was younger, I thought it all came from here, but it was really like what I was generating from down low. So I took that, and I told somebody that the other day that like you have to work on your lower body and make sure that's strong because the way we run to get open and all that, like if you have no base, like you're never going to be as efficient as you should coming off screens and making the shot continuously through 4 quarters of a game. So I would say just base and just like the different level of strength training he had to do to maintain all that.
Were there any things he was doing on the court, like as far as like work ethic, shooting routine, or anything like that that you thought was, different or unusual or just made him special?
So Kyle is the opposite of me. I try to get as much shots as possible up in an hour when I'm shooting. Like if I can get 1,000, amazing, like whatever. But I watched this guy in Santa Barbara work out. I worked out with him at P3 in Santa Barbara, and we went to the gym afterwards. And it might have been 20 minutes, bro. I swear it was like so quick, and but it was full speed. Like I'm talking about, everything was game speed. And I was like, how do you just only shoot for 20 minutes? Like if I don't shoot for an hour, I feel like I'm not doing enough. But he got to a point in his career where he was so dialed in on everything else. He just wanted to make sure he was getting the correct speed and pace in his shot. And once he felt like it felt good, he got out. And so it's funny that now I'm 31. My workouts. The biggest thing I changed this summer, we talked about it a little bit too in Atlanta, and was like efficiency. Like I'm in and out too. I'm not 20 minutes, but like I might be 45. But I'm talking about like that 45 is basically equivalent to like an hour 20 to me now, because I'm not walking in any drills. Everything's full speed into a shot. If I can get a contest, great. If I can't, I'm imagining a contest. Um, and so I'm trying to take as much stress off the body as I can and also get more out of it. So talking about it now, I really learned a lot from him, just how to maintain everything. And once you get to that level, it's less about killing your body and all the reps. It's more about just working smarter and efficient. And so this summer more than ever, it's probably my best summer I ever had in my life. And that's the only thing I changed was that. So it's pretty cool.
Yo, I think I heard somebody was telling me a story. I don't know if it was Kyle Korver or Mike Miller or somebody, but they said that um, let's just say if it was Kyle Korver, he didn't season his food because he wanted to eliminate distractions. So like, he didn't season chicken. It was like an article or somebody told me about it. It was in this article and it was one of like the great shooters in the league in recent years. But like he didn't season his food, didn't do anything because he wanted to eliminate distractions, and he ate the same thing every day. And I'm not sure if it was him or not, but could you confirm or anything like that? Would you know anything about that?
So I sat beside him on the plane for all 3 years. I don't remember him ever doing anything like that. But he did put me on a lot of different things. Like he put me on kombucha before it got big. He was drinking kombucha like after games, like for gut health and all that. And he put me on bone broth. That was the one thing that was like nobody knew about it. He put me on early on. And that you can get it at Whole Foods now. Before you couldn't even get it at Whole Foods. Like nobody knew about it, but like farmers or whatever. So he told me you gotta stop drinking that coffee and drink like bone broth. Like that's where the nutrients are, and that's how that's how you really stay healthy and all that. So he was on top of the game as far as like recovery, and he knew all the little ins and outs of what to do for your body back then. But as far as not seasoning his food, I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
I don't remember him doing that.
I'm gonna find out who that was, man. Because I was when I heard about that, I was like, yo, that's like next level. Like
That was probably
It's like-
He
natural.
was
for
very
the culture.
meticulous, but I don't know if it was at like that level. I don't know. I could be wrong though.
That was natural for the culture, man. That wasn't anything specific. that was by nature, man. That was by nature. Hey, man. Hey, but yo, the one thing I always thought is dope to hear you talk about like lower body and base and balance, because I've always
Yeah.
thought that like shooters are way more athletic than they get credit for. Like, all right, and the bounciest people, maybe not, whatever. I mean, you had bounce, but like, okay, like a Kyle Korver, Steph Curry, whatever it is, the athleticism it takes to run at that pace, get your feet set on balance, and fire over long defenders, contest, like that's a elite athlete in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would say it's on par. It's on par with like the LeBron James type athleticism to me. It's not the same, obviously, but it's on par in terms of, I guess, how impressive it is or how much I mean, I don't know exactly how to put it, but you know what I'm saying. Like I don't know how you quantitatively
Yeah.
put that, but yeah.
You have to play like us to understand that level of it. even when I don't say I took a week off after the season, or whatever, I try to get back into like full speed curls into a shot. Like I'm tripping over my feet and everything. Like it's something you really got to work on all the time because like as shooters, like maybe your shot stays the same, but everything else feels weird at first. You feel heavy, like all those things that you do normal in the season. It's just like second nature. Like take a week off or 2 weeks off from it and try to do the same thing without like working your way back up slowly. Like there's been times where I almost fell down trying to like go super hard and curl a screen and try to like like so from that standpoint, I do agree. Like it's very tough to do. It doesn't get enough respect. Like when I watch like Duncan Robinson or JJ Redick or Steph and Clay and all that, like that's elite stuff they're doing. Like, and they're getting chased by the best athletes in the world and still getting a shot off and still expected to shoot 40 plus from three. And they might not get but like 6 threes a game. Like, you got to think about how hard that is to do. So it's a great appreciation for me, especially being a shooter. Like, when I see guys like that, it's pretty cool.
You know, it's funny when I see you shoot the ball. You remind me a lot of Desmond Bane in regards to like balance and base. You know, and I thought, you know, I was with Bane most of his pre-draft workouts and whatnot down here in Miami. And one thing I was just always just amazed with is he was just always on balance. Like, you know, he could be moving, you know, 100 miles off a curl or coming down the court dribbling the ball, but then it's just like that balance and that base. It's like it's almost like somebody just passed it to him and it was just catch and shoot. And I think that like getting repetitive and obviously, you know, just getting to the point where whether that shot's off the dribble or off the curl, just having, you know, your feet under you like you were catching and shooting, man. I see that trend a lot with shooters too.
Yeah, I mean, I actually watched. I remember that you posting that stuff about Desmond. I don't miss too much content y'all put out, so especially when y'all putting out stuff on like Klay recently and shooters, I'm locked in, and so like I noticed that too, and especially watching him now in Memphis, he's same shot every time, regardless if he's coming off a screen or he shot fake one dribble to the side, like he's still straight up, straight down, and that's one thing my dad taught me at an early age was I used to fade back a lot, get lazy with my hips and all this stuff. It's like straight up, straight down, man. You can't miss when you do that. And I just kind of kept that mindset. And my trainer, Drew Hanlon, had a study where if you're wide base and you land the same way every time, or in the same spot every time, or something like that. I have the chart on my phone, but it was like 67% success rate. And it was like a chart from a year in the NBA. Like it was every shooter, not just shooters. It was every shooter. They charted like how they landed and how they started and how they landed. If it was a wide base and landed in the same spot, it was like a super high percentage of shots that went in. So I took that data and I was like, damn, my dad been telling me that since I was 6 years old. So, so I kind of just stuck with it. And it's hard, like I said, you coming off crazy screens to do it, but it's just I think that's when the core comes in. Like you got to be able to go fast off a screen and still land the same spot that you shoot from.
Man, I couldn't believe Desmond Bane could shoot the first time I seen him. That dude's so damn strong. He's
So big, like you would think like he can't shoot, but he got a clip, boy.
They fly out his hands too, man.
He got a clip, man.
Yeah.
Do not
Super
miss.
clip.